What's going on, guys? Let me know if you can see me and let me know if you can hear me as we're getting things set here to mock draft on YouTube on the Sleeper app is where the draft will go down. In the video description here, you can find the link to actually join the draft because we do have a few spots remaining. So check that out in the video description below if you are joining the YouTube stream, and there's still a chance for you to draft. First one of the season that we're doing like this, so hopefully we're able to fill up the draft room. If we can't quite do so in a timely fashion, we will go ahead and just begin and draft with a couple of empty spaces. It'll be just a CPU drafting in that instance. But I'm going to tweet this out at bschaeffer12 on Twitter to get us a little bit more steam, hopefully, behind it, since we're trying to bring this YouTube channel basically back from the dead, since I haven't used it really since last season, other than some recent content. And I'm posting that draft link now. What do we got? 5 spots left? I'll tell Twitter that we've got 5 spots, because even if that's not quite accurate, it'll be close enough. Whoops. That's the one thing I got to remember is I can't pull up Twitter. Get rid of Twitter. There we go. All right, let me know in the chat also if you're listening on YouTube or if you're on Sleeper, but you're chatting, you're playing, whatever the case may be. Let me know how it sounds, because some of my recent videos I've learned the audio was a little bit too quiet, or like a lot too quiet. And that's not conducive. Well, we're close now. 2 to go. 2 spots. Well, 3 spots left. People are kind of moving around. 3 spots, and then we'll start it up. Grab a draft spot. I chose to draft from the 1.7 this time. It doesn't really matter. Sonny says, oh, I wanted to draft from the A spot. It doesn't matter. You pick a different spot. Everything sounds good. Thank you, Sonny, for that on YouTube. We've got now 2 spots remaining. We're getting close. And then we're going to start this draft. And you know what? If it goes well, if it goes quick enough, we'll do another one. We'll post a new draft link into the YouTube stream. We also have a Discord, B-Shape Daily Discord. If you'd like access to that and you don't have it currently, at bschaeffer12. If you look up there at the 1.7 draft pick, you'll see my my black and white picture. It's actually Paul Goldschmidt in the background of me standing there looking like an idiot trying to take a picture of Paul Goldschmidt. For whatever reason, that's my photo on Sleeper. And bschaeffer12, that's the same name I have on Twitter. DM me on Twitter. You can join B-Shape Daily Discord. That's where we post all the information on the live streams and when we're going to be doing them. But we're really close now to getting this thing filled. I'm going to grab Twitter one more time. Let them know we got 2 spots, and that should be probably, hopefully, enough to get it filled. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if we've got many viewers just yet, but I could check that out, potentially. All right, we got a few people watching on YouTube. I'm going to try to throw it into the chat on YouTube, actually. That way, if you're on the YouTube stream but you're not in the draft, that's how you join. If you happen to stumble upon this, you can still draft with us. The link is in the YouTube chat, the Sleeper link. And by the way, subscribe to the channel. Please give the video a like as well. Trying to revive this channel from the dead has been difficult. Once again, everybody's looking at my Twitter. I don't know exactly why that is, but we're trying to get things figured out here. Hit subscribe and like the video. That's going to help us to get more folks in here, and that way it won't take 5 minutes to fill next time. But now we know we're super close. Well, we get a little bit of echo here. I'm getting all the streams up and loaded. Okay. 1 spot to fill. Surely we can fill it. I want to fill it with people from YouTube, because if you're watching on YouTube, well, you deserve to be able to draft with us. But that's okay. We will get this up and running and go as far as we can here with this. Excited about it. I want to try to be doing as many of these as I can over the rest of August. And it looks like we filled her up. So let's go ahead and get this underway. I'm going to go 30-second clock for everybody because I want to keep it as quick as we can so that maybe we can do another one after this, 30 seconds. Make sure you're familiar with the draft settings. Quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, a tight end, why is it doing that? I wanted to scroll my roster. There we go. A tight end, a flex, and 5 bench spots. 12-team, full PPR. On the screen, you'll see my team. You'll see my queue if you're watching on YouTube. That's just a way you can cheat and try to beat me. But let's get it going. There we go. A little bit of a delay. 30-second clock. Try to make your pick if you can on time. But after this, I'm just going to start talking to the people in the stream. I'll talk, obviously, about everybody's teams and what I think. Hopefully, YouTube sounds okay. Hopefully, we're doing okay with the stream and everything's good on that front. And we are underway here. Welcome in. It's the first mock draft of 2025 live stream on the channel. We see Bijan Robinson go 1-1. Remember, it's a full PPR league. A lot of times you might expect Jamar Chase to go 1-1, but I think Bijan's a great pick. I think Bijan is my top running back on the board this year, and he's going to do a little bit of everything. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to run the ball. He's going to play a bunch. So I think that's a great pick. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson goes 3. Saquon, CeeDee Lamb, Jahmyr Gibbs, and then we're on the clock. I intentionally chose 7 because I think 7 is a really difficult spot. I think it's a tough spot to be drafting this year, but I want to try to put my best foot forward from that 7 spot. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the top of ADP. We could go running back. It would be Henry, Gentry, McCaffrey. You go Puka Nacua. I'll reach on a guy that I like drafting a bunch, and it's Malik Neighbors. That's going to be my first pick. It's a little early to take him, but you get your guy, and I think you could make a case that with Puka, are you concerned at all about the Matt Stafford stuff? I am a little bit. I'll still take Puka, but I'm just really heavy on Malik Neighbors. Like, if I go down swinging this year, it's okay if I go down swinging on Malik Neighbors. I think he's just as talented as the 3 receivers drafted above him. Quarterback situation is definitely more of a question. Okay. We have Drew Lock that's been selected. I'm going to give you another shot at it. Let's take it serious, please. There's no reason to jump in a draft like this and then try to screw it up for everybody else. Dude, I'm going to kick you out of the draft, my friend. I mean, I just don't know why you'd do it. I don't know why you would come in and do it that way. I'll happily draft against an ADP. We'll pause it for a moment. You're ruining the content for everybody else. There's no reason to do it. I haven't seen a comment from this guy yet, but give me a break, dude. It took me 20 minutes to set this thing up. I get it. You're drafting Mizzou guys. Cut it out for us, okay? Give you one more shot at it, only because I'm trying to figure out how to actually kick you out. Would really just appreciate you not ruining the draft for everybody else. There's absolutely no reason to do that. All righty. Try to switch up the order with it. All right, one more shot.
Come on.
And I'll go auto pick on him. And hopefully we can just proceed and have a good time. Let's try one more time. I don't know if the sleeper app is even quite functioning the way we want here. I get it. The joke is, haha, a bunch of Mizzou guys, which I'm a big Mizzou fan. But, there's not a lot of utility in completely wrecking the draft order for everybody else. This is not a rookie draft, obviously. All right, he's auto-picked. That's just as well. Sonny's up. Sorry about that, guys. Amon-Ra St. Brown would be a completely reasonable pick at that point in the draft, I will say. Brian Thomas goes to Sonny. McCaffrey's an interesting one this year. And not to gloss over Doyle taking Ashton Gentry. He's obviously a really exciting player. McCaffrey was the running back if I was going to take one, it would have been him at that spot in the draft. But I can't really 100% figure out how I feel. I'm just not 100% able to commit knowing the the age, the significance of his injured season last year. And I was 1.7, realize. At 11, I think he's a great pick. But I wanted to be a little bit more in the way of youth and upside with my selection. Devon Achane going to Sonny, I think, is a great pick. That's one of my favorite picks in the turn range, and Sonny gets him at the third pick of round 2. So that's a nice pick. Doyle up on the clock, and then I got to figure out who I'm taking next. Josh Jacobs goes, so a double RB start. We'll talk a lot about draft styles and starts when we do these videos. You could do hero RB, which would be one early running back, and then kind of waiting on the rest of your running back room. You could do double hero RB, which is kind of what Doyle has done here. We see Team 11 going that direction as well with McCaffrey, Bucky Irving. I'm going to take Brock Bowers and go early tight end. I think if you're going to go elite tight end, he's the guy to do it with, of course. I do wonder, though, with Ashton Genty on that Raiders team, it's a completely different offense. Pete Carroll's in there now. Does it change just the unbelievable target share that he was able to see last season in that offense when you didn't have quarterbacks really capable of throwing to wide receivers? Aiden O'Connell and guys like that. Now it's Geno Smith. Does that change the dynamic a little bit? I could be reaching for sure on Bowers, but I've been testing it out in mocks, and this is the first time I've done like a mock where it's basically full, other than that knucklehead that we had at the 1.9. We've got everybody here and active, which I appreciate. So I'm going to give it a try with Brock Bowers. Like I said, I just don't love being at the 1.7. The seventh pick means you're in the middle of the second round. I like it more when you get later in the draft. I just don't know if I like it for the first couple rounds. Because later on, you're not as subject to those long positional runs. But I kind of like it at that point because you're able to just take some ADP value if it drops, but there's no real ADP value to be had in the first couple of rounds. Drake London goes to Wiggles, and that's a nice little 1-2 punch with Gibbs and London there. We got Team 5, FF, I can't freaking talk. FF Hex, HTX. The font is too small for me to read. Jonathan, and I have to keep it that small so that the whole draft screen fits on video, so I apologize for that. I like that Lamb Taylor start. That's just fine. Saquon McConkey. We have our first quarterback off the board to Denny in the second pick of the third round. Not going to lie, Bowers' shaved head caught me off guard. Needed to happen. Yes. Was I prepared? No. I haven't actually seen a picture other than the one that was floating on social media. Like, I haven't seen him at practice with a shaved head. If anybody's got the link to that photo, let me know. I saw it in almost like a stock image context. So now we're seeing a little bit of a positional run. We see Chase Brown go in the third pick of the third to Andrew. I like Chase Brown. And then we really see the quarterbacks begin to fly off the board. I would have considered Jaden Daniels. I don't know if I will go as far as to now saying, okay, I'm at the very end of a quarterback run. Should I take Jalen Hurts? I'm not probably going to do that in this situation. I normally don't like zero RB this year. I want to get a hero RB for my team. But Chase Brown would be the guy that you'd like to do that with in the third. And I just don't know if I have the gumption on Breece Hall just yet. I'm going to take Jackson Smith-Njigba as my second wide receiver. I need to be a little careful here because to be able to hit the wide receiver values in the middle rounds that I want to, I'm really going to have to allow my roster to still need some wide receivers when I get to that point, which is one of the reasons I take Bowers. It's not that I don't like McConkey or Drake London. You know, Marvin Harrison, Tyreek Hill, all those guys. It's really because I know that I'm at least gaining that positional advantage at tight end. And how real that ends up becoming, it remains to be seen. Because if he's not scoring as many fantasy points as London or McConkey or A.J. Brown, then it's a mistake. Because you can find tight ends in the late rounds and do just fine with them. But if Bowers can be like a true wide receiver one at tight end, which is a risk because it's not a guarantee to happen, but that's the value there. It's so fun. You know, when we've done these videos on mock drafts, we haven't had a full room. And now that we have one, you know, you're seeing, okay, somebody's going to really like Travion Henderson and take him at the top of the 4th round. That's a reach compared to ADP, but it's also maybe what's going to happen in your real draft, which is why I love doing these here. Excuse me. So now in the middle of the 4th round, I really am strongly considering Breece Hall. There's a lot of weirdness surrounding Breece Hall right now, though. And James Cook as well, both running backs at the top of ADP. Do people think he's going to be traded? What's going on? I'll take him just because I don't really want to have a 0 RB build for my first mock with y'all. I want to try to get into the flow of things a little bit. So I'll take Breece Hall, and he can be my hero RB. I won't feel inclined to have to take another one right away because I think we're getting very, very close to what I consider to be the RB dead zone for this year. Kamara, Hubbard, Connor, Mixon is a big old pile of no thank you for me. Montgomery may be different. I think Montgomery is a good 0 RB target if he falls and you've stocked up on a couple of great receivers. Maybe you got a Josh Allen, a Daniels, or a Bowers, or a combination of those type of guys. And if Monty is your first running back in like the 6th round, maybe that's okay. RJ Harvey is a rookie. He's not really a dead zone name. It's just he's been pushed up draft boards because he's a rookie and people believe he can be a guy that next year we're drafting in the 2nd round. And so he doesn't really fit the dead zone profile, but he is in that same zone. He's kind of like where Travion Henderson was before he returned to kick for a touchdown in a preseason game. But now people are so on to him that he's going in the early 4th here, which is fine. You got to get your guys, man. Don't go through a fantasy season and say, oh, I really wish I hadn't taken, James Conner, but he fell 2 rounds past ADP, so I took him instead of the guy I really wanted, and I knew it was going to be a breakout season for Dylan Sampson or whoever it is, and don't let ADP necessarily dictate for you. Sonny likes my pick on JSN. Yeah, I was drafting a ton of JSN on like Underdog and drafts of that ilk. By the way, I didn't put Underdog sponsorship or anything on this video. I do have a partnership with them, though. If you want to reach out to me for more information on that, I can get you set up with Underdog, because you can do best ball drafts even still the rest of the month on Underdog, and that's a great way to kind of practice up is really the benefit of that. So I like what Team 1 is doing. I just feel like I'm going to point it out a little bit and then criticize it. Kittle and Mahomes are great players, right? They're both future Hall of Famers, by the way. But when it comes to fantasy, I feel like round 4 and 5 is a little early for me because, and this is applicable to the Burrow pick as well, a little bit. I feel like that is the cutoff line. After Jalen Hurts, yes, Burrow could be great for fantasy, and Mahomes I think is actually going to be really good for fantasy. But he's going, half a round later than Hurts. Burrow's going half a round later than Hurts, who I think has the rushing upside. That's something that Burrow and Mahomes just don't necessarily have. All right, so we're seeing a lot of my round 5 wide receiver targets go off the board. Again, this is why you play. This is why you mock, because when you're playing against a computer, yeah, you might be able to get Tetaroa McMillan at the back of the 5th or early 6th. But when there's savvy drafters out there, it's not going to happen. However, y'all savvy drafters have allowed Xavier Worthy to slip to me, who is actually, I think, one of my preferred of this, like Flowers, DJ Moore, Devontae, McMillan, Waddle, Worthy run. I think Worthy might be at the front of the line for me. There's Pickens, there's J-Mo, Travis Hunter. That's all kind of like the same. You're going to see a run on wide receivers in that 5th round, which is exactly what we saw here. Hit subscribe on this video if you found us on YouTube. Be doing a lot of these over the course of the next couple of weeks, especially as we get you set for the fantasy season. Checking out the comments on YouTube. Geno Smith, first overall. I guess he wasn't locked. Yeah, no. The guy drafting Drew Lock was not locked. And it's weird because I know he's somebody that drafted with us in the past, but he's not going to anymore. I see his name. He's gone. Unless he gives me a real good explanation for what the hell happened. I hate his team for whatever that's worth. Hubbard and Connor, that's all I'm commenting on. It's kind of 0 RB-ish. I mean, you could get by with it. The receivers are good. But that's our only drafter that's going via the auto pick. So we love the way we've started off here. Malik Neighbors, JSN, and Worthy is a smashing top 3. And again, the thought was I could get all these great receivers in round 6 and 7, and that's not obviously going to happen. But I probably am going to just take the next receiver on the board. And for me, that's probably Jordan Addison. Yeah, Rome Odunze even falling, moving up boards into the early 6th is another guy that I like. I like Sonny going J-Mo and Odunze back-to-back because he really hit running back heavily with Achane, Hampton, and Ken Walker. So a little bit running back heavy for my taste. I usually wouldn't leave the first few rounds with more than 2, but I like all the players that Sonny has there in the 10th the 10th spot of the draft. Travis Kelce, Taylor's boyfriend, goes off the board 6.8. Pacheco. I like where we're at here. With Addison, I'll explain a little bit about that pick for me. And let me scroll down so everybody can see the board. Whoops, that was a hyper scroll. Addison is suspended for 3 games. I think he's very, very talented. I think that Minnesota passing offense is going to remain really good. Kevin O'Connell's just a good coach. They figured out how to get Sam Darnold to look like he did. Excuse me. And so I just think you're going to get really good production out of that passing offense. And the 3-game suspension doesn't really bother me. Even with Rashee Rice, I saw he went off the board relatively early. Late 4th round. And this is a 12-team league, and so you can afford it a little bit more. Look at Andrew taking Rice. He's going to have Jefferson, A.J. Brown, and DJ Moore. He's got his RB1. He's got his quarterback. He's got to figure out his flex spot for a few weeks, but then Rashee Rice comes back, and his receiving core is really, really strong. Ours is not quite as strong, and that's part of why you have to do something like I did, I think, with Brock Bowers, because you're like, okay, if the guy drafted in 3rd is kind of using the same strategy we're using, he's going to beat you to Chase Brown. He's going to beat you to some of these superior wide receivers.
Come on.
He pivoted as we get an auto pick there. Chef, there you go. Yep. Just make sure if you do auto, you can turn yourself back to green after that so you don't keep autoing. And set that cue in case you do happen to auto. 30-second picks, just trying to keep it moving for the video's sake. But anyway, evaluating more about Team 3 right now. I'll light that up as he's about to go on the clock here. If they're going to be better than me at a similar strategy, I've got to be different somewhere to be able to find my edge. And I feel like I went tight end 1. If Bowers can be that, I don't have Mayfield. I don't have a quarterback yet. I'm okay waiting on that position. But I can be pretty much comfortable to attack wide receiver depth, and so that maybe my bench is stronger in terms of wideouts. I can get that second running back. I do have to worry. I don't have Breece Hall ranked as high as Chase Brown, so just comparing myself to that team. He does grab Monty as that second running back, which I think is a high floor. In theory, it's more of a low ceiling pick, but also, the best handcuff in fantasy is still David Montgomery, and he's somebody that you could put in your lineup, even if I'm calling him a handcuff. Because if something should happen to Jahmyr Gibbs, that should even make Montgomery all the more valuable. All right, we're another round later when I took Addison over Chris Olave, and Chris Olave is still sitting there. I know he's injured right now. I know he's a little banged up, but I'm happy to put him on my bench. He's probably the pick here. I'll put him in the queue as I look through the rest of these names. Got to find another running back, but the next round, unless I really get kind of screwed here, I think it's going to have a candidate or 2 for me to pick from. And so I probably will take that second running back here coming up. And again, if everybody in the draft goes, oh, Brenden said he's going to take a running back, I'm going to take all of them. Well, that's fine. Because these 5 guys could do it to me if they really wanted to. But with Olave, yeah, it's starting to be kind of a narrative that mounts on him when it comes to injuries. But I also think he's supremely talented. And if he can get healthy, okay, that's a great flex for the time in which Jordan Addison's out. And I just get another kind of dart to throw at the board in PPR. He could end up being a guy who gets a big target share. We have really legitimate questions to be asked about that Saints passing offense for sure. I don't know for sure who the quarterback is. We think it's going to be Tyler Shuck. But I'll take Olave because, like, again, I feel like he fell around past where I expected. Like, I was considering him over Addison, and I ended up getting both of them. And guys I have trouble with are like Jerry Jeudy, Calvin Ridley. You know, those guys both went in the 6th round. I feel like they're both not that old. They're not in great passing offenses with established quarterbacks, but they've got great talent. I've seen good video from them from preseason camp, both of them. But I have a hard time, like, not just taking the younger player in that same round. Odunze and Addison go. Debo is not somebody I'm really targeting unless it's best ball stacked with Jaden Daniels. I've done that a couple times just for the the stack's sake. But anyhow, Swift goes. Tyrone Tracy goes. That was maybe the running back I was most eager to lean into at this stage in the draft. But there's still more that I'm happy to pick up. It's probably between ETN and Jaylen Warren for me here. ETN's looked pretty good in camp. Is he being showcased for a trade? It's certainly possible. I'm going to click ETN, honestly, just because I don't know if I have the stomach to do it in a real draft, and I'd like to see. I'd like to test it out and pretend. I know I could click Warren's name, but I don't know if I'd be able to do it with ETN. So let's see. Igbuka goes in the 7th. Yeah, get used to that. Or excuse me, round 8. He goes round 8 as somebody's wide receiver 5, so it's a bench bat. And that's probably where you want Igbuka because he may not get the playing time early, but he seems to be a really good talent. So I think anywhere he's picked, it's going to end up being a good pick. You can't say, well, it's a reach because, it's get your guy. If it wasn't going to be him, somebody else was going to do it. I would have considered it right there with my ETN pick. I was honestly hoping he would last another round or two, so I didn't want to bring his name up, Emeka Igbuka. But I did need a running back, which is normally not something that I always do. Like, I'm happy to take another wide receiver. I usually want to leave the draft with 6. But in this instance, when you kind of look at the makeup of my team, okay, Addison's suspended for 3 games. Olave injured currently, so what if he misses week 1? I'm going to draft Igbuka where I don't really think I can trust him week 1 because he's a rookie that is lower on the depth chart. Like, Igbuka wasn't a great fit for my early season version of my team, but that's not always a reason to do something. You can I almost love to dare myself or like to draft myself into a corner where like I don't draft an RB2 for a while. And as a result of that, I kind of have to, I have to get through a pickle at some point in the early portion of the season. I have to draft I have to find an RB2 off of waivers for week 1 just to kind of, force myself to be uncomfortable in drafting. By the way, hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube and hit like on the video so it gets featured a little bit better for the fantasy community. And if you're not watching on YouTube, you can. I think most of us probably are, is how we kind of structure that. But appreciate you guys who are doing so. Back to the board. Let's see what I've missed here. Godwin, Jaylen Warren. There's the Warren pick that we kind of talked a little bit about. Ricky Pearsall, I want to like him, but I bet he's going to be somebody that I say I'll draft and then I don't actually do it. Like relative to the names that went right after him. I think Pearsall, to me, for whatever reason, I'm going to take him over Jawan Jennings. I don't know what's correct about that, but that's the order I would have it as well. Khalil Shakir has had some injury stuff early in camp. I like Josh Downs, but quarterback stuff. So, like, I don't know. Pearsall feels like if you're going receiver at that point, I'm usually kind of, like I said, shifted back to running back by this point in the draft. I like Pearsall. Do not like Cam Scatterbo. Sorry. Doesn't mean I'm right. I just won't pick him. I just think Tyrone Tracy's the better player there and the one that's going to get more of the work. And let's see. We've got 2 running backs. We've got 5 receivers. Is there a 6th that's just a locked and loaded stud that we want to take right now? There is one that I really, really do like. Could take quarterback. Honestly, I'm running out of time. So I'll take Jaden Higgins. And that's kind of going to tap me out for receivers, I think. There's a running back that I like that I'm not going to get because I didn't take him there. But you never know. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about having an auto drafter because they take the second quarterback Kyler, I was considering, but I just decided, let's take this to the wire on quarterback. Who still needs one? Team 12 needs a quarterback. Give you a bigger look at the draft board here. And myself. Team 12 and me, that's it. We see some tight ends go off the board. But I don't have to care about that. Kind of forgot that for a second, but I don't have to. Because I drafted Brock Bowers. That Warren and Drake May, Team 12, I like that look. I'm intrigued by Team 12. It's a little bit eclectic. Like, you got some veterans. You got some rookies. You got some guys, like I told you, I just don't know what to do with Calvin Ridley, but that doesn't mean that I shouldn't be. I mean, he could get a dozen targets a game, and we could be looking at it and just going, yep, he's automatic for 15 PPR points every week because he's the number one target, and the rookie quarterback trusts him. Like, that could absolutely play out. I need the quarterback. The other guy that took one, or that needed one, finally did take one with Drake May. So in theory, I shouldn't need to take one, but I don't know. We'll see how early y'all start drafting your backups. That'll be something good to measure. Generally, I wouldn't advise it, but in this mock, I'm not going to, I'm not going to try to sway the public here on what they ought to be doing, because I kind of want to just see what actually happens. Jordan Mason goes off the board, which puts me in play to still draft the running back that I was hinting at, because Mason is the only running back that went off the board between my two picks. How crazy is that? Brenden, you have 6 receivers. Lay off. Let's look at quarterback. I probably need to look at quarterback at least. But again, nobody on the left side of the draft board needs one. I'm going to take Zach Charbonnet. I think the Seattle's going to run the football, and I think Charbonnet is going to, Ken Walker is a pick that I still like, but if he gets hurt, man, we have seen Zach Charbonnet just be a stud filling in. So I'll take him and take my chances there with the bench running back. I got 2 bench spots to fill, and I still need a quarterback. But we're feeling great about Neighbors, JSN, Worthy. Addison, Olave, Higgins. It feels like it could have been better, but that's just because I'm basing it off all the mock drafts I've done with robots. Humans are going to draft smarter, and I just don't get the same receiver value, is what I'm learning very quickly. Although, I mean, in the case of Xavier Worthy, I felt like that was really good value. So I guess it's not universal. Continuing to watch this unfold here, and we'll try to repost this version of the draft. Again, if we do a second mock within this same live stream, that's a possibility here. Just let me know in the comments below if anybody would want to rejoin another mock after this one. We still got, this has been pretty decently quick, half an hour or so into this one, give or take. Luther Burden, MIZ, goes off the board in the 10th round. Pretty good stuff right there. Trying to see what I need on my team. Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Zach Charbonnet. Decent running back room. It feels like too much running back capital to have been spent already for me, based on the way I typically like to do things. And I didn't get guys I just love. I really like Charbonnet for where I got him, but I don't love Breece Hall. I feel like I took him because I felt the time that I had to. And Etienne I certainly don't love. Again, it just felt like that was me almost making a token pick. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to take a running back too, so let me take the guy that I like the best from the group, instead of just probably taking Emeka Egbuka. It's a lesson learned, but sometimes you got to learn those lessons multiple times. And you hope that you can learn it before the real draft that you do. Sonny, which pick of mine was good? I don't know which one you were complimenting, or was it somebody else's pick? We're taking a look at, so Justin Herbert goes, and that's a QB2 for somebody. I won't have a backup in a 12-team league with 5 bench spots, just me personally. At the quarterback position, I'm looking at Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, Justin Fields is down there. I will take him if push comes to shove. I think Bryce Young or Michael Penix could get you by. unless everybody starts drafting a second quarterback in my real leagues, this could be an easy season to kind of stream quarterback. Like, draft somebody late that you think has upside, but if it doesn't pan out, you can probably stream it. I don't know. It depends on how aggressive your league mates are. It also makes me kind of intrigued for how Superflex is going to go. I have an auction Superflex. By the way, guys, I have some drafts, like real leagues, that I need to fill some spots in. I would love to get some DMs from people tonight going, hey, I was in your mock. I just put @Schaeffer12. That's my handle. I put it in the chat on Sleeper. But if you're watching on YouTube, DM me on Twitter. I'm like, hey, I want to join a draft. I got to fill some spots. And I agree on the Kyle Pitts pick, Wiggles. I 100% agree. If you can get him in the 10th round, 11th round, why not, man? All right, I will go ahead and take Caleb Williams now because that's the quarterback that, I don't know, I feel has the highest upside from the spot in the draft that he's going. But I was the last team to take a quarterback. I feel very comfortable taking a quarterback in the 11th round. I'm gonna approach quarterback one of two ways. I'm taking one of these first four: Allen, Lamar, Daniels, Hurts. If I'm in a draft where QB is just not valued early, and I'm stuck on my pick in the middle of a round, middle of the third, if I get into the 4th round and somebody like Jane Daniels is still there, I'm like, I don't know, there's nobody near the top of ADP that I like. I'll take one. Beyond those four, you will see me wait till probably a double-digit round unless I start to catch a panic in the middle of the draft. I like the Trey Benson pick by Team 12. And that's a guy that I normally like to take, but when I took Charbonnet, I was like, that's kind of where that's like the Trey Benson role on my team. That's why I said I maybe spent a little bit more draft capital on running back this time than I normally would. And maybe I have to sit back and go, is Benson a better pick than Charbonnet? If so, don't worry about what ADP says. Move a guy up. But I feel like I took that Charbonnet one round earlier than maybe I would take Benson. But honestly, I'm usually taking a quarterback in the 10th round. But everybody else took one and kind of let me be. So I decided to push that off until the 11th. I don't need to keep looking at quarterback now that I have one. What do I need? I've got my 6 receivers, don't I? No, I have 6 of them. One is a suspension guy. Is there a receiver that I noticed right away that I'm like, oh man, I need him? Not really. So we'll probably stack running backs, and let's just take Jaden Blue. I don't know if I like him or not, guys, but he's a rookie, and he could be the starter for the Cowboys at some point. And if he is, then he's at least a trade chip for me. So I don't feel like I need 5 running backs, but I'm gonna end up with 5 because I don't see myself drafting a backup quarterback or tight end, and I just don't really think I need any more receivers. And there's also, I feel like, better contingent value in the running backs you can draft in rounds 12 and 13 than, drafting a wide receiver that you're hoping. What are you hoping for with the wide receiver? The number 2 from a lesser passing offense. Yeah, you could probably do that. You could go with the rookie that needs an injury in front of him, but that's really more applicable at running back. You're not really looking for injuries to clear a spot for a receiver. It's just not as effective to do it that way. Last pick of round 12, and then we've got one round to go.
Oh, come on, dude.
Come on, dude. That's okay. We made it pretty far without too much of that. We did not get off to a strong start, though. With, what's his name? I'm getting some crazy readings here on the stream. Hopefully that's not anything that is hurting us too bad. Last round, though. I like the Braylon Allen pick from Team 2. I'm into that. Ray Davis goes off the board. Let's identify some last round targets. I mean, Kincaid's fine. I don't really need a backup tight end, but he's fine. The Justin Fields thing, man. I could go all the way to the end and just take Fields and roll with it. I don't know if it's going to work out for me, but I might be willing to do it. I'll highlight Isaiah Likely because he's a guy, if he doesn't start week 1, I'd probably put him on my IR spot. All my leagues usually have 1 or 2. And I think once he's healthy, I like him. Jack Besh, maybe that's a receiver that I would consider. But again, you're talking about a Raider. There he goes off the board. I've already got a Raider, so I don't really need another one. What would I really be targeting at this point in the draft? I guess it's time to decide, though, ain't it? Algier, Rico Dowdle, those are, no, they're not rookies, but they're guys that are going to have roles. And, when you start to think about drafting people's handcuffs, what if something did happen to Bijan Robinson? Well, Tyler Algier would be obviously a locked and loaded start at that point. There's some rookie running backs I could delve into, some other guys. I'll just grab Algier. He's a handcuff, but he's also going to play a little bit, and you could plug him in during bye weeks if you had to. Jaden Blue is more the type of running back that I want on my bench, where it's sort of the ilk that, hey, if he's not the guy, you can just drop him and pick up somebody else on waiver. Algier is not really that way. You have to. It's almost why I don't love Algier as a bench pickup, because you're going to be tempted all year long to drop him for somebody, but really his value is he's going to see the field even with Bijan, and if Bijan were injured, he would be a very, very good handcuff. We see Ollie Gordon off the board. Who will Team 12 make the Mr. Irrelevant of this draft? I will be curious to see that answer. Torrey Horton goes, and then Pat Bryant, the Denver receiver, goes off the board. So that is our draft. I'll take a moment and kind of identify some teams that stand out to me. Team 1, auto draft, they're not really here. I don't love this team. I think they had a couple of autoed picks, but I'm not taking any Mixon. Ramondre Eckler, it doesn't really fit the vibe for the bench that I'm looking for. Bijan Robinson, really good player. I think they overdrafted Kittle Mahomes. Not a team that I would probably have personally. I like Team 2, though. They got a quarterback in the elite section of the draft. Running back, you got your one hero, but then I'm not a big Dobbins or Chubb. I feel like those are kind of the same guy, and I don't know if you can necessarily count on the veterans to reemerge at this stage of their careers. I like Braylon Allen, though. He might be your second best running back. Jamar Chase, can't go wrong with him. Metcalf, Flowers, Judy, Pearsall, Shakir. Yeah, that's a receiver room that could end up being better than I'm going to sell it as. Flowers is a guy I'll take. Jamar Chase, of course. But Metcalf, Judy, you got some interesting offenses that not in a good way. And so I wonder how that's going to go. But you've got the number 1. I mean, the Browns' number 1 is Judy. The Steelers is DK. This is a good team. Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Rice, DJ Moore is a great 4-pack of receivers. You've got the true number 1 RB in Chase Brown, and the number 2 is a really, really solid floor guy, as is Jaylen Warren. Only took 3 running backs, but frankly only needed the 3. I think you autoed on the Jonnu Smith pick, so that's probably not somebody you're necessarily targeting. Took Kincaid at the end to kind of make up for that. That's a pretty good team. That's my favorite of the first 3. I reached on Burrow in my opinion, but that's where he goes. He goes in the 4th round. McConkey, Smith, Godwin, and Burden as your 4. The receiving room is a little bit questionable because for PPR, I'd like to start 4. But Saquon Pacheco, Aaron Jones, it's not the type of team that I would build, but I could see the merits to it. Andrew K is still in the lead for me, though. Lamb, Taylor, Lamar. Let's look at it this way. Lamb, Tetaroa, Jaden Reed, Shaheed, Kirk, Bateman. Solid receiving core. Lamar's a plus at quarterback. Taylor, Kamara. I like Caleb Johnson. See, you drafted the old guy Kamara, but you balanced it out with Caleb Johnson. It's a solid team. Probably middle of the pack. Jaden Daniels. I love getting him. I think Pitts was a great pick where you got him, and again, it shows you can wait on tight end. London Waddle, Samuel, Myers is a pretty good floor for a receiving core, and then you brought in the ceiling with Igbuka. Excuse me. Don't love the Judkins pick. But to each their own. I just don't think he's going to play. But Gibbs and Cook, I mean, it's a solid team. Probably upper middle class. That's probably a playoff team if 6 teams make the playoffs in our league. Evaluating my own draft, yeah, I really like Neighbors JSN. I feel like I got a steal of Worthy. I got to piece together the flex a little bit, but I think I've got 3 candidates to do it. Addison, Olave, we kind of talked about them. And Higgins is just, I mean, he's going to start for the Texans, and they're going to be a pass-happy offense. I love being able to have a guy like him on my bench because he's upside. Running back is not as targeted or specific as I normally want it. I normally want to know, like, I've got a locked and loaded number 1, and Hall is kind of that, but kind of not really. And then I don't really want to have the type of RB2 situation that I have where it's like, oh, do I play ETN? Oh, do I play Charbonnet? Jaden Blue, that's the type of pick I want, but I didn't get enough upside at running back. I got a higher floor than I meant to. I normally want my RB2 to be like a complete train wreck or a glorious disaster. Like I don't want to have a locked in loaded, RB2. And that's kind of what it feels like ETN is. I'm not gonna I'll evaluate this real quick. Genty Jacobs, good running backs. Garrett Wilson, Sutton, Kupp, Mooney. Yeah, they're a little lean at receiver. Got a couple of quarterbacks. That's okay. I don't think that's quite a playoff team. Obviously, I'm not even going to bother with that team. It was auto-drafted. I like what Sonny did. H.A.N. Hampton, Ken Walker, 3 solid running backs. I wouldn't have gone Samson Gordon at the end if I had such a good 3 to start. I might have just done one of those 2 at the end. Receiver, Thomas, J-Mo, Odunze. I mean, you could get away with that. And Stroud was a good pick at quarterback. It's not there. You got to manage this team really effectively as the season goes along. But it's got potential. I think that could be one of the playoff teams of this league if we were to play this out. Evans, McLaurin, Pickens, Ayuk is interesting. He's not going to be there for 6 weeks. And then Torrey Horton is kind of a skeptical grab at the end, but I like the upside. So just not enough receivers for PPR. Running backs are great. McCaffrey and Bucky is great. You got upside with Harvey. Tracy you can put into your flex instead of a receiver. That's it. Evans, McLaurin, Pickens, I just don't excuse me, for the fact that you didn't go too crazy on drafting many receivers, the ones you have, I wish I liked them a little bit more. But that's another kind of middle-of-the-pack team. I know I'm saying that about a lot of teams, and I guess if I've said that in a complimentary way, it means you're probably one of the better teams. I think it's probably evenly matched league, the way we drafted it out. It was a good draft. This one's a good team. This team, I think, is one of my favorites that I didn't draft. I like my team. Obviously, I talked about, the weaknesses to it. But I think Andrews, myself, and Team 12, drafting from the turn, not always easy. Nico, Devontae, Travis Hunter, and Ridley is a pretty good receiving core. And then even if I don't love, a guy like Ridley, where I'm going to go, he's older, is he really going to have the upside? Well, he probably is. But even if he doesn't, you drafted a rookie and a Keon Coleman, second-year receiver off the bench. Henry, Henderson, Swift, Bigsby, and Benson is some great value at running back. And it goes to show that you can do really well to punt on both tight end and quarterback. Tyler Warren has upside at tight end, which is all you're looking for at that stage of the draft. And Drake May is an interesting quarterback. And you technically stacked him with Travion Henderson. So I really like that team. Outside of my teams, I'll award Kaiser first place, and I'll award Team 12 second place. But I think I was right there in the mix. Wiggles is up there too. Sonny's up there too. I'm a playoff team, and then one more of those teams that I said was kind of middle of the pack. Those are going to be the playoff teams this year. Oops. Realized that I kind of fudged it by, you probably couldn't see the whole teams there. Sorry about that. So that's what I think about that draft. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Let me see if anybody's in the chat here. Here's what I'll do. Let's try it. I wonder if I can make an even quicker one. Draft settings. Could we do, could we do a 20-second clock sleeper? I would really appreciate it if we could. Let me try this, though. I'm going to throw it onto the YouTube, and if we can get this thing filled up quick, then we'll do another draft. Join in. Hopefully that is the link that we're looking for. No, don't need to hear myself talk. Join in. I'll throw it in the Discord as well. And if we can get enough folks into the second room, then we'll do one more draft. But if not, that's okay too. My voice is kind of going on me. Now would be a great time to jump onto Twitter and DM me if you want to join the Discord as well. And DM me as well if you want to join one of my leagues. I got some spots open. Obey, oh master. Don't know why that's stuck in my head. All right, we are going to try this one more time. I'm posting in the B-Shape Daily Discord the link. The link is in the chat here on YouTube as well. If you would like to join the next mock. That's already available to you. It is available now in the Fantasy Football Discord. I see Itty999 was happy to take somebody's spot, the guy that was being a doofus. But that didn't end up happening. So I posted it in Discord. I'll post it on Twitter too. And if we have half a room full of robots, that's no big deal. We'll still draft it that way. One moment, everybody. All right, I've tweeted that out. And I will see now. And hopefully, man, the volume and stuff is good for tonight. Hey, try to join a different slot than you drafted in last time is the only request I have, which it looks like everybody pretty much has done. That's my only request, just because I'd like to make every draft feel a little bit different. I'll draft from the... give me the 11. I'll take the 11 this time. Looks like we got 5 or 6 of us already in here, which is wonderful. And if that's it, that's okay. I'll see about whether or not I put this one even as its own video, but maybe I will. Maybe I will. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got the room half full. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I'll give it another minute or two. And then we can get this thing going. Yeah, for my Twitter account, I just don't have as many people aware of the fantasy stuff. Most of my Twitter following is for baseball. And so I need to somehow infiltrate some of those fantasy circles, because there's people who would be like, oh, yeah, let's draft. I'm down to clown all the time. But you know what? Let's just rock and roll with the 6. I think that's perfectly good. Because that way we get this knocked out. Oh, look at that. We got 7. We got ourselves 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 12-team PPR mock draft. Running another one here in the live stream. Did a decent job of filling this one up on a short notice, but we're going to go ahead and run it since it's the last draft of the night. Try to make your picks quick, and we can all get to bed in about 40 minutes. That's the hope. I don't know if I have enough water to do this consecutively. Whoops. Nope, that's an empty cup. I think the auto
pickers will speed us up a little bit this time. But we also have to realize it's probably not going to be 100% accurate to what a draft will be. That's okay. We can still learn some tendencies. We can try out some strategies. And that's exactly what we'll work to do here. Is I'm on the clock at the 1.11. And I'm going to see what it looks like if I reach on Devon Achane, because if I don't, Team 12 could have taken him. I could go a number of directions here with my second pick after McCaffrey and London go off the board. Derrick Henry could be my second running back, and I could go with the double hero build. Or I could take Brian Thomas. Henry, man, I don't know what to do with Derrick Henry. And by the way, Nico Collins would be a fine pick as well. It'd be kind of crazy to keep letting him slip. But I'll take BTJ because I really like Brian Thomas. Hero RB is kind of feeling like the vibe for this year, but it may just be take two. Team 10 goes Genty Henry. I mean, there's probably some merit to that as well, because I know now that I'm basically locked out of the next few running backs that I consider to be worthwhile. Not getting Bucky, not getting Taylor, Kyron, Chase Brown. Again, maybe Breece Hall falls back to me, but I'm not as tempted to take him because I'm not desperate for a running back once I have Achane locked in. So we'll test this out. I don't know if I really like drafting from the turn, but we'll find out if I do. Chase all the way up to 2.12 in that pick. Couple of Bengals for Team 1. Believe Lil Colt is the screen name for that drafter. Kyron Williams, so he's doubling up on running backs after taking Jamar Chase. That feels like a pretty reasonable thing to do as well. And I think Kyron Williams is always such a polarizing player, but he just continues to get workload and contracts from Sean McVay and the Rams. So really not a lot not to like about the St. Louis kid. It's one of the guys that I covered him a game or two in high school, when he was in high school anyway, when I was writing for various newspapers. So that's kind of a cool one. He's probably the biggest football player that I covered any of when he was in high school, because he obviously has gone on to be a starting running back in the NFL. I'm trying to think elsewhere. Deuce Vaughn was a running back in Central Texas when I covered him. Has not quite really emerged with the Cowboys, but he's been there a couple of years. And he was, I mean, I tell you what, and when he was in high school, he was Darren Sproles. It was crazy how good that guy looked on the field. All right, Josh Allen goes to the computer at 310. Jaden Daniels is sitting here for me, and I'm just going to take him because I don't know what that CPU is going to do. Well, they're going to take 2 Jets, apparently. Excuse me. Yeah, for me, back of the third, that's Jaden Daniels' time. I'm happy to do that. Get one great receiver, one great running back, and a great quarterback. So last draft, I waited, and ended up with Caleb Williams. This time, I'm like, yep, I'm happy to just take Jaden Daniels and call it a day. Tight end, there's no one to take. I got to pick a receiver. Losing my voice, sorry. Pick a receiver. I'm going to reach. No. Oh, no. I autoed. But because I'm drafting with other people, I need to respect the draft. I would never take Mike Evans. I was clicking Rashee Rice. You may have seen on the video. Didn't get him. But maybe that's for the best. You know, maybe the CPU knows better what I should be doing than I know myself. Because Rashee Rice could very well be a dangerous pick if he's suspended 6 games. I'll be 2-4 by the time I get him back if I draft him. You never know. But man, that's gonna sting. I just would never take Mike Evans. I just wouldn't do it under like any circumstance. Why? Well, because he's kind of old, and I don't want to be left holding the bag. I just don't get caught holding the bag when it comes to. I draft these redraft teams like it's a dynasty almost. Right, wrong, or indifferent. That's how I do it. All right, so we're going to see how we work around that Mike Evans pick because that changes a lot for us. Rice and Worthy go. Interesting to note that Worthy ends up going before Rice, although I was taking Rice, so that wouldn't have been true. Tedero McMillan up to the early 5th at this point. Honestly, I should just be taking McMillan right there in the early 4th. I would have taken McMillan over Mike Evans. But I've been trying to kind of play ADP a little bit with McMillan, and I'm starting to realize I'm going to lose because other people like him too. And if I look at the rest of that 4th round, like let's just start it from the top. Garrett Wilson, Evans, Kamara, Henderson, that's a fine pick. Again, feels early, but that's maybe where he's going to end up. Metcalf, Hurts is in that top 4 quarterback group, but usually not the one I'm targeting. Ken Walker, totally fine. Team 6 takes him. Needed a running back 1. I get that. Adams feels like Adams could end up being a really good pick in the late 4th, which he seems to be sliding to. Because I think Jimmy Garoppolo will get him the football. That's happened before. We've seen that with the Raiders. Burrow, 4th round pick. It's not until you get to like Devontae Smith, Xavier Worthy that I really like any of the 4th round picks. So, what's I tell you? Just take one earlier. Don't worry about ADP. Get your guy. I can say it to everybody, but can I practice what I preach? If I hadn't taken Brian Thomas, I'd probably like Travis Hunter here. But now I feel kind of like, should I have done that? I would really like my team better if I had gone Derrick Henry. And then I could take Hunter after Rashee Rice, which I didn't obviously get to take. I'll take Waddle, though, and then F it. I'm just going to take Travis Hunter because this is the dumbest draft I've ever had. I'm just going to take both. I'm just going to take both. This is peak, like, YOLOing a draft. I think Hunter is the best receiver left at that stage. I could have gone for, like, Olave again, or Judy, Ridley, Addison, Odunze. All of them are fine. But I think Hunter has the highest upside. So after taking Evans, who I'm not enamored, I'm not thrilled to have taken that pick. I feel like I had to do something special. And that 5th round, man, is chock full of receivers I like. I wish I could have 4 5th-round picks this year. I wonder what a trade down would look like. Like, what would be reasonable to trade out of? Like, would I trade a 3rd for a 4th and a 5th? For sure. Would I trade my 2nd for a 4th plus a 5th? Probably not. That feels like about the line. I mean, I might trade my 3rd for 2 5ths. That doesn't make any sense. Or does it? Because then I'd have 3 5ths. Wow. Sleeper is freaking the F out. Stop that. Good grief. That's right. It's a good app for the most part. But the mysterious ticking noise, enough. Had enough. Oh, boy. Yeah, Tetaroa is always gone. I call him Tetaroa because that's what his mom wants us to call him. He doesn't like Tet because she doesn't like Tet. Odunze feels like a good pick there. I like what Team 2 is doing there, Ren. I don't know how I feel about Jacobs. I don't have a good reason to fade him. I just don't tend to take him often. But you got 2 running backs that are getting volume. You got Lamar, who's one of those top 4 quarterbacks that we talk about, top 3 quarterbacks. I don't love the McLaurin pick, but, it could work out for you. It's a little risky at receiver, though, with the Rice suspension, McLaurin holding out. Odunze was not a great contributor last year, but he should be a lot better this year. It's just so crowded with the Bears, though, too. But I like what Team 2 is doing. I don't know if I would go Laporta that early, but in terms of tight end value, I kind of prefer where Laporta's going over Kelsey and Hawkinson, and certainly over Kittle. If Kittle's in the middle of the 4th, I feel differently about that. But otherwise, I'm not so sure about the volume being there. But man, Kittle is a freaking stud, so I can't really fault you there. Kittle's one of those guys that every season I'm like, I can't draft him where he's going. But then the season happens, you're going, damn, I wish I had George Kittle. So maybe I'm the one that's wrong. I didn't get Caleb Johnson last time we drafted, and I think I'm going to just get him this time because I need a second running back, and he's the youth rookie upside that I look for in that position. But don't have me draft a 3rd. Let's wait a little bit to draft a 3rd. even if I have to overdraft some of my late round targets by a round or so, I don't want to end up in the same spot I was in last time, where I just felt like I wasn't getting enough upside with my running backs. Oh boy, let's just take Igbokwe just to say I'm going for like the double stacks. Evans and Igbokwe, for when Evans gets hurt, Igbokwe emerges. Tyler Warren's a good pick. I thought about him there, but we're punting tight end on this draft for sure. I know who I'm taking already. I already know who my tight end's going to be. And you will not pick him. If you do, I'll tell you, but I don't think you'll pick him. Igbokwe, I am excited about. I wish I didn't have Evans. It kind of ruins my whole draft because I'm drafting as though I took Rice there, but I didn't. Rice, by the way, went a whole additional round before anyone took him, so maybe that was just a dumb pick by me. And you can talk yourself into circles. Oh, actually, I forgot about one tight end. There's one more that I might take that you may draft. But I don't know if I want to do it on this wraparound. We're still in that. I mean, we still got the 9th round yet to go. We're still in the single digits here, Brenden. Warren and ETN going middle of the 9th to the computer for whatever that's worth. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to wait exactly the way I thought I would at tight end. But if I was going to, it would be because I'm going to hit wide receiver hard and end up with maybe 7 of them this time. Let's see where we're at. Thomas, Evans, Waddle, Hunter, Igbokwe. It's an eclectic mix, to be sure. At running back, the top names are Javonte, Jordan Mason, J.K. Dobbins, Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson. It's like the second dead zone for me. Tyjae Spears, Nick Chubb's in there. I don't want any of those guys, so I won't draft any of them. We're going to have to take a receiver. I always take Luther. We've done enough reaching at this point. Why not do a little bit more? Take Luther Burden. And then, honestly, let's say 10th round. No, I'm not going to show my cards this early. We got a quarterback. Yeah, I lied about the thing. I'll take Loveland because he's at least upside at tight end. Theo Johnson was the name that I thought I was going to take, but then I realized, let's just see how round 10 and 11 go. I'm going to tell you how many players go off the board that I'm like, oh, I should have taken him at the 10th pick, or at the 10th round. Rena Grenades talking about Kyle Pitts. Yeah, you might get him here. We'll see. If you wanted to double up on tight end. So far, nobody has been taken that I'm just going, oh, I can't believe I didn't take him at 10.2. My team now, though, kind of needs Caleb Williams instead of Jaden Daniels because I took Loveland and Burton. I have stacked pass catchers of 3 different offenses. The Buccaneers, the Bears, and I've done it with the Jags. This is not my finest draft that I've ever done. 1 per night. Maybe that's my limit. Maybe that's what that means. Losing some steam. Or chasing the steam, either way. It's kind of what I did with Igbokwe. Drafted him in the 8th round. But he went in the 7th, I think, in our first draft. Will Kyle Pitts go off the board here? Here we go. Nope. I thought you were going to do it, Ren. I think Pitts is a good pick wherever he goes now. I should stop staring down all these tight ends, though. Okay, Shaheed, Sampson, Drake May, Rashid White, Dobbins, Ayuk, Kraft, Mason. There goes Pitts, Mooney. Only Kyle Pitts is maybe a guy that you could argue I should have taken in the 10th round at 10.2. I took Loveland instead. I think Loveland has higher upside, but he's definitely not as safe. Which is kind of silly to say because Pitts has never been safe. But I think he's very much going to be a guy that gets target share this year, and so I do kind of consider him safe. If you're drafting him in the 11th round, he's safe for what you're spending anyway. Yep, I don't regret the Loveland pick because what I thought about doing was starting to pick off some of the running backs that I was looking for. But I didn't have to. I'll take Trey Benson now in the 11th round, which is maybe a reach for him. But with how I've structured the thing, I want to get guys that I think have a chance to help me. And I'll go ahead and take Braylon Allen, too. He's a late-round running back that I like. Didn't get him last draft. But I think I like him, and I don't have Breece Hall on this team. I did on the previous one. Was another reason to maybe not target him. Although you could take both, and if Breece Hall does somehow get traded, that would be like a huge boon for your team. I've done that a little bit on Underdog Best Ball, taking both. But now I feel pretty good about my team, even though I don't. I said I do, but that's a lie. The receivers are just too wonky. I've got plenty of talent that I'm excited about, but it's not a real team. Doesn't fit together. Running backs I like. Achane, Caleb Johnson, Benson, and Braylon. I like that 4-pack of running backs better than what I had the last time. I think last time it was a safer group, though. Like ETN, definitely safer in terms of like he's going to have a role right away, in my opinion, relative to Caleb Johnson. Charbonnet, you know what his role is going to be, and it could even be better than that. Like my running backs, though. Got 4 that I like. Brian Thomas, Waddle. If I just had, it's the Thomas and Hunter thing that's still burning me up. But maybe the Jaguars throw it a ton. Maybe their defense will stink, and I could start both those guys. But that's just not probably something that I would do in a real draft. I was just kind of irritated. And that happens sometimes. You make a pick earlier where you go, oh my gosh, and you spend the next 20 minutes while you're waiting for yourself to come back around on the queue, just like kicking yourself, and then you kind of almost punish yourself with your next pick, and then you start to get a little bit indignant. You're like, well, screw it. If they're going to give me Brian Thomas, or if they're going to give me Travis Hunter, I'm going to take him. And then you're like, Brenden, you didn't really have a use for Travis Hunter. Or you get sniped and you act that way. It's a good learning experience, but at the same time, the players I have, I like. I think I'd like my team. I'm just going to pretend it's Rashee Rice instead of Evans. Thomas, Evans, Waddle, Hunter, Igbuka, Burden. There's a lot of upside there. There's risk. Like that's not a steady flex in week 1 or even like week 4. If I had Rashee Rice, that team would lose a lot of games early, but it has a lot of talent to where if I snuck in the playoffs, I think I'd still have a chance with this draft. I don't necessarily know if there's anybody to pick late. Let's take Krosky Merritt. He's going to be my stack with Jaden Daniels. I don't know if he's even going to make the team, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do. All right, guys, appreciate you guys for joining the stream tonight. Again, remind you, hit me up on Twitter at bschaefer12. You can DM me. Luke wants to know, if I grab Chuba Hubbard, do I snag Dowdle in the late rounds? I don't think Chuba Hubbard is a significant enough running back to handcuff. I don't really, in my opinion, no. Cody wants to know over under 2.5 concussions for Olave this year. That's kind of funny. I don't know if I guess I'm not able to put chat on the screen the way you can with StreamYard. But I'll keep learning on that. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this, I appreciate you for hopping in. This channel has struggled the last couple of weeks. I've been putting content on it, but maybe I just need to start doing some live streams because then at least I have people to talk to and we're having fun. Hit like on the video before you get out of here. Maybe that'll help the YouTube powers that be decide to give us a little bit of love and get this video stuff out to more people. We'll do more mock draft live streams as well throughout the rest of the month. Weekends are going to be a little bit tricky because I'm like going to concerts. I'm going out of town. Cardinals are in town this weekend, so I'll be covering the game one of those nights, and so it's a little bit tricky. But this weekend, Saturday night late, probably can do some of this. So stay tuned for that. It's weird now that we have more viewers now than we did at the beginning, but hit like before you leave, hit subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. We're going to keep trying to build this thing back up, and if nothing else, we'll get some practice in before we have our fantasy drafts later on this month. That'll do it for the stream. I'll repost some of this stuff on the channel as well, so you can go back and remember the draft that we just did and the fun that we had. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time on the channel. Peace.